Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will be discussing a very common value, laboratory values which are encountered during laboratory tests. What is the difference between ESR, that is erythrocyte sedimentation rate, and CRP, C reactive proteins? Students, we all know that both are indicators of inflammation, but today we will be discussing their differences. Students, ESR stands for erythrocyte sedimentation rate. In this case, there is a sedimentation of RBCs in the tube because under the effect of inflammation. Inflammation leads to sedimentation of erythrocytes. Students, ESR is commonly indicated during chronic infections. For example, tuberculosis, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disorders. There is another point, ESR starts to rise even in the late phase of infections. In some cases, ESR persists even when the inflammation has subsided. On the other hand, students, ESR is commonly increased during tuberculosis, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disorders. On the other hand, CRP, it is an acute phase response proteins. Students, it very specifically indicates the acute phase of inflammation. Although CRP also remains persistently raised during chronic phases of inflammation, for example, rheumatoid arthritis. Students, CRP specifically indicates acute phase of inflammation. When acute phase starts, CRP rises abruptly, and when acute phase declines, CRP tends to decline. Persistent rise in CRP indicates persistent chronic infections. Students, CRP is commonly seen raised in acute conditions like acute bacterial infections, bacteremia, acute septicemia, acute viral infections, acute fungal infections. In some cases, CRP is also raised under pseudo conditions. For example, inactive lifestyle, lethargic lifestyle. It may lead to increased CRP. In some cardiac injuries, CRP is also increased. So, there was a brief comparison regarding ESR and CRP, C-reactive proteins. Students, C-reactive protein increases when acute inflammatory cells gather at the site of inflammation. They produce certain cytokines. These cytokines, they causes the production of C-reactive proteins by the hepatic cells. Thank you students. Allah Hafiz.